Okay, so post-race debrief. I've given myself a few days post-race. I know most people will know that I DNF'd in Ironman South Africa, but for anyone that doesn't know, that's what happened. And I'm going to go through what happened on the race day, the days leading up to the race. I've had a few days to kind of feel sorry for myself, get the emotional part out, and then think logically about next steps, next plans, and I have got a plan in place. And so that's kind of what this video is all about. I just immediately kind of straight off the bat want to say thank you so much to everyone who's messaged me after the race, checking in, making sure I'm okay, giving me all the support. Thank you so much. To all the lads out there in South Africa that were incredibly accommodating for me. The hospitality there was absolutely incredible, like nothing I've ever experienced before actually at any other race. It was absolutely fantastic. The guys that I met down there, incredible people, and I'm so happy that I actually made the trip down there, even though I went to the other end of the world, spent a ridiculous amount of money and came away with nothing. In a sense of a result, I still came away with a really good experience, good friendships, met some incredible people, and learned a lot about myself and different things as well. That sounds very spiritual, doesn't it? Before I do chat about what happened, I know there are going to be a lot of people that do support me through this and actually understand what I'm going through. I know there are also going to be other people that have no idea and love the fact that I failed and that I DNF'd, and they can slag me off, and they, you know, you put yourself out there, people are going to hate you for it. And I've already had some dicky comments from people. You know, they've always got an opinion on people if they've had a DNF or whatever, and it's just like, you know what, fine, like, if you want to comment shit like that, comment shit like that. It actually makes me feel sorry for people that comment stuff like that. It's like, your life must suck so much that you have to get enjoyment out of slagging other people off. And so it's like, it makes me feel sorry for you if that's who you are. If you just want to come here and comment shit about what I'm up to and what I'm doing, and the fact that I'm putting myself out there and I've failed, but I'm trying as hard as I possibly can to be successful and to give you guys free content and stuff like that. If you're still slagging me off for that, then you know what I do. I genuinely feel sorry for you. Your life must suck. And I've already had some interesting comments. I'm sure I'll still get some interesting comments. You know what? I mean, feel free to comment because it helps the algorithm. So these videos are just going to get more views, and it's just better for me. So you know what? If you want to slag me off, feel free, go for it. So let's talk about the race day, or actually a few days before the race. I was trying to be really clean with what I was having, and I mentioned in my pre-race day video, you know, drinking bottled water, eating plain things, getting the carbs in, not having too much fibre, all of this sort of stuff that we all know that you kind of should do leading up to a race. Looking back on it, I know there are some quite big mistakes that I probably made, but it's in hindsight. Obviously, hindsight is such a, you know, an annoying thing because it seems simple when you look back on it, but when you're in the moment, it seems like you're doing the right thing, and I genuinely thought I was doing the right thing. So anyway, I've got a little bit of like stomach pain leading up to the race, but I'm still trying to keep positive, trying to keep things simple. Race morning goes pretty smoothly, everything's going well, and yeah, I was really looking forward to the race. Actually, I was super buzzed. The kind of almost really good conditions for me. It was quite choppy water. So anyway, I set off. The gun goes. I set off on the right hand side. Josh Amberger's on the left hand side. And we kind of like meet, and I'm almost leading it a little bit to the first buoy, and then essentially I lose Josh's feet. This was a tactical error on my part. I saw that Josh was being led by the lead kayaker, and I could see the buoy a little bit further on the left, and I thought if I go straight for the buoy, it kind of looked like the lead kayaker was almost leading Josh out a little bit. And so I was like, well, if I just swim straight, Josh will come back and I'll reattach and I'll be on his feet. The issue that I didn't quite take into account the fact that Josh was just moving that much quicker than me, and he's just far smoother in the choppy water. It was incredible to watch. He just kind of absolutely went. and he just had a better rhythm than me, and he's definitely just got more understanding of swimming in the open water, swimming in the chop, and he's just got far better open water technique than me. So I lost it, and I kind of like held the gap at like maybe 50 meters for a long period of the swim, and I actively occasionally I tried to close the gap a little bit, but I just didn't want to overexert myself, so the gap ended up then stretching out a little bit on the way back. But I was really happy to come out of the water second. I think it was like a 48-minute swim, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that was really cool. I think I came back out maybe a minute behind Josh. I feel like if it was a slightly less choppy swim, perhaps I would have been able to stay on his feet. But, he's one of the best swimmers in the sport, if not the best swimmer in the sport. So to come out a minute behind him and have a gap between myself and the pack behind, yeah, that was really cool. I was really happy with that. I take a little bit of time in T1 to put my socks on, so that's why my T1 was a little bit slower than other people's. And so then I come out of T1 maybe 90 seconds back from Josh. And at this point I'm thinking, well, damn, like I'm in the race. Like this is sound. Rob's holding up a sign saying I'm 90 seconds back. Really good swim. Let's go for it. Now, I probably did overbike a little bit. That's not why. That's not absolutely no reason why I DNF'd at all. But I did get maybe a little bit carried away, but I knew that there were some incredible bikers behind me, and I had to stretch out. And my plan essentially going into this was like, work hard for the first 20 minutes, because that's a climb, and then descend off of that and then settle in. And that hopefully will have given me a little bit of time between myself and the guys at the back. So I'm riding well. I get the first 20 minutes done. I maybe catch Josh like 25-30 minutes into the ride, and as soon as I catch him I think, well, okay, I've put in a pretty decent effort. I'm at like 330 watts here. I need to chill out a little bit. So I get in front of Josh, and then I start to think, okay, well, I'm at the front of the race here. This is so sick. I'm at the front of this race. I'm within myself. I can start to relax and bring the numbers down a little bit. As soon as I thought that, Cam Worth comes flying past me, and I think, okay, problem. Now, I had two options here. Number one was let Cam go, or number two is go with Cam and hope that he eases up a little bit. And you know what? I was trying to race for the win. I genuinely believed that I could have won the race. Looking back on it now and looking at how Rasmus raced and some other people, like, I wouldn't have won. But when you're in the moment, I was like, you know what, I'm racing for this win. I'm in good position. I feel great. So I went with Cam. We went up the hills. Man, we were riding hard. Well, he was riding hard up the hills, like 400 plus watts up the hills, which was pretty crazy. And on the way back, maybe 40, maybe 45, 50k into the ride, I decided, you know what, Cam's pace is a little bit too hot. I was hoping he would ease off a little bit and settle down, but he was just cooking it a little bit too hard for me. So I decided to ease off a little bit. Then a little bit later on, Rasmus comes past me, and oh my God, I have never seen someone move so quickly in my life. That guy is absolutely insane. I immediately try and hold, 12-meter gap to Rasmus, and I just get spat straight away. And I'm still riding freaking hard. Like, I'm riding great numbers, and he just rolls past me. It's absolutely insane. So then at about 60k into the ride, my stomach started to really, really ache. I was getting a really bad bloating feeling. I was getting a really nasty, like, stabbing feeling. But I obviously needed to keep fueling. I was only 60k into the ride, so I was still following my gel plan, my electrolyte plan, getting in as much water as I possibly could because it was fairly humid on the day. I can't stress enough how horrific that headwind was. It was absolutely disgusting. That was probably the worst headwind I've ever ridden in my life. You're riding downhill at 300 watts and you're going like 25 kilometers an hour. It is revolting. So hats off to everyone that finished the race, because that is absolutely disgusting. So anyway, I finished the second lap. my second lap power is a fair bit down. So for the first 2.5 hours, I think I was at 325 watts. Yes, that is high, and yes, that's too high, and my second lap was 270, 275, so it normalized 300 for the whole race. That was just the way that the cards were played that day. And you know, if it was any other day, any other athletes out there, I probably would have played it slightly differently. But I actively was trying to just race for the win and go for it, and I believed that I could in that moment. Anyways, yeah, 60k into the ride, my stomach was going, and I was getting quite frustrated, but I needed to actively keep fueling. Got through the rest of the ride, and it was really, really painful towards the end of the ride. I just thought, you know what, I have to run. I have to see how it feels, and try and nurse myself through it. And if I feel good on the run, I know I can still finish well. And that's the frustrating thing, is like, if I ran the way I know I can, that would have been probably would have been a Kona slot, would have been some really good prize money, and would have been a race that sets up the rest of my career, or puts me on a completely different path. And it's like, oh man, yeah, horrific. So anyway, I get into T2, I run out, and it's pretty much within 500 meters. I know I've got a problem. I know my stomach is absolutely screaming at me. It is horrific pain, bloating. It's just not going away. I go through the first aid station, I grab some bits. It's just not going. I end up walking after 2k, and there was no way I could get through the marathon. Now, people are gonna say, oh man, I've ran through a stitch before, and I can, you just gotta walk it off, bro. It's like, no, there's no way you can walk this off. People don't understand. This is horrific pain. It's some of the worst pain I've ever felt, and I'm still feeling it from race day. I'm nearly a week on from race day, and I've still got really bad stomach pain. So yeah, decided to call it a day, go out and support the lads that were out there, and just spend some time with people and just digest what had happened, because I literally had such a good opportunity there. I was in such a good position, and it just got snatched away from me, and yeah, it absolutely sucks. And there are going to be obviously people that, slag me off for doing that, making that decision. Saying oh, you just walk the marathon, whatever. You know what? I've said my bit about people that say shit like that. I'm just moving on from it, and yeah, it's incredibly frustrating. I don't go to the other end of the world and pull out when I'm coming fourth just for the sake of it. There has to be you have to question that. You have to be going through a serious amount of pain to be in fourth position in an Ironman where there's opportunity for Kona slots, incredible money, to then pull out. You have to be, and that's what I was going through. It was absolutely horrific. So anyway, I'm super bummed about it. I'm super frustrated, because I went through a period before this race where I was really trying to be strict to myself with the eating, and I thought I got some answers. I thought I figured it out, and clearly I haven't. I'm it feels like one step forward, two steps back at the minute. And to finish the first race of the season with a DNF, or to obviously not finish the first race of the season, is it's so shit to put in so much time, effort, and money, and have everyone around me support me, and I just don't perform. And it's I had so many questions after pulling out, and like I said, I've had a few days to digest it and figure out what's going on. Essentially, I've chatted to a few people. I'm going to be chatting to specialists. It's really frustrating, because I've got this ability. I feel like I can race with the best athletes in the world. I proved that on the swim and the bike. I know I can do it on the run. It just has to come together on the day, and that was not the day for me. So you may be asking, what's next? I was really keen on actually just throwing myself straight back out there. I was really angry, and then I've realised that's not a good idea. The priority has to be sort my stomach out, get to the bottom of why this is happening, because I don't want to repeat this. This is a sign for me. This is a aha moment. This is okay. If you don't sort this now, this will continue to be a problem. you will never reach your full capacity and your full potential, and you always have this issue. So it has to be solved now. So this DNF is a massive kick up the arse for me to figure out what is going on and how I can solve it, not just for racing, but for literally the rest of my life, because it's clearly a problem and I have to figure it out. Looking back on some of the things that could have caused it, I think, so eating out, I ate out pretty much every meal in South Africa because I didn't have any facilities in the hotel room, so could have been something that I ate out there. I was potentially fueling up a bit too much with the electrolytes before the race. I was going a bit hard on the electrolytes because I was sweating quite a bit and it was quite humid. That could have been a problem. Yeah, like I said, some of the things I've eaten, and potentially thinking that I could be celiac, I could have a gluten intolerance, because before the race I was smashing, things like pastas, a lot of bread, stuff like that, everything that's packed full of gluten. And that's when I started feeling the problems, is like 2 days before the race. So I'm thinking, that could be a potential issue for me. The other issue is the race fueling. Potentially I'm just having too much. I was fueling 100 grams of carbs an hour, and maybe my body can only absorb like 60 or 70, let's say. I'm just plucking numbers out of thin air. But let's say that, then I'm just hammering the body with extra carbs that it can't process, and that's causing my stomach issue as well. So I'm just throwing ideas out there because I'm still in the investigation stage of what's going on. But those are a few of my thought processes there. Yeah, there's probably other ideas as well, but that's where I'm at the minute. I'm going to potentially be doing some like gene testing, blood testing, stuff like that. We've got a little bit of an idea of the issue, and I've chatted with Tom, my strength coach, who's incredibly knowledgeable in the area of nutrition, and we're pretty sure that I've got leaky gut syndrome, and essentially my gut is just really weak, and the stuff that I've been putting into it has not been helping at all, and that's why I've been like having these severe stomach pains. It's not, I almost can't describe it, how painful it is. It immobilizes you. It is so excruciatingly painful. There's nothing you can do, and it just hurts so much, and it keeps hurting for days and days and days later. So we think it's leaky gut syndrome. What I'm going to do now is take a series of probiotics. I'm going to do a FODMAP or low FODMAP diet. So essentially, if you don't know what FODMAP foods are, just give it a quick Google. There's loads of stuff out there. But essentially, there's certain things that I was potentially having that I didn't know would cause me stomach issues. So I'm going to go through a phase of having a low FODMAP diet, and then we can slowly introduce things that we believe could be okay, or we'll see where my tolerance is for things. So right now, that's the next goal. I'm massively down. I've been nearly knocked out, but I want to get back up. I want to come back swinging, because I truly believe that I proved I can race with the best in the world. I just have to string it together on a race day and get to the bottom of why this is happening, so that my future races I don't have this problem. Because it's not a fitness problem. I'm not DNFing because I'm not fit enough. I'm not DNFing because I've got a little niggle in my leg or whatever. It's agony. It's excruciating stomach pain caused by something that I am consuming, either too much of or just the thing that I'm consuming. And so I need to get to the bottom of it. And that's my goal at the minute. So I'm going to be documenting this. I'm going to be documenting my process, because I believe there are going to be other people out there that are suffering from the same thing. I can't be... Hopefully I'm not the only one. Or maybe, hopefully I am the only one, because I wouldn't wish this pain on anyone. It is horrible. But this is the thing that I'm going to be going through. I'm going to be documenting it on this channel. The next race, I've got an idea of what I want to do, but I'm not going to be chatting about that now, because I want to get to the bottom of this with the best of my ability. I want to throw everything at this. I want to leave no stone unturned, because this is a problem and it has to be solved. Like, it actually actively has to be solved. I'm so passionate about solving this and getting to the bottom of it, to prove to myself that I've got the ability, to prove to everyone else that I've got the ability to, but also to prove to the people that have believed in me and put so much into me, to prove their like belief correct, and to give them what they deserve. And so that's why I'm super passionate about this. So guys, keep following along. I'm going to be documenting the things that I'm going into, the things that I'm actively doing to make sure that this does not happen again. And of course I will, publicize all my findings, the things that I've found out about myself, to hopefully make sure that if there's someone else out there who's struggling with this problem, that they can solve that as well. I know it's a very complex issue and everyone's going to be different, but hey, if I can just help one person out there with my findings on this stomach issue that I've got, then I would call that a success. So look guys, I just want to say I'm completely bummed, I'm completely frustrated and annoyed, but I've gone through that phase now, and now I'm in the phase of let's fucking get to the bottom of this. Let's absolutely leave no stone unturned so I can get back and absolutely fight for that win and fight for being the best that I possibly can be. So guys, I just want to say thanks so much for the support. Thanks so much for all the lovely messages. I'm sorry again for being such a letdown with the result, but yeah, this is one of the things. You learn from failures, don't you? And this is a big failure for me, but it's also a big learning opportunity. And I will come back fighting, I will come back swinging, and I will be better next time, and I will find a solution. So thank you so much for sticking with me. Anyone who wants to slag me off, feel free. Like I said, it's good for the algorithm. But yeah, any specific questions or anything, drop them in the comment section below. Yeah, that's everything for now. I'll keep you guys up to date. Thanks so much for all the support, and I'll see you in the next video.